When I was around 10, I met a strange boy who seemed to appear from nowhere. But after about a year, he disappeared. Now I know the truth. I was probably 10 or 11 years old when the boy first showed up in my memory. In one of my parents' fields, I was swimming in a lake with my friends during the middle of summer. There were only 200 people living in the small farming town where I grew up, so everyone knew everyone. In the town, there were two schools, one for girls and one for boys. That's how it was when I lived there. I'm not sure why they divided them by gender, and I'm pretty sure both have merged now. My friend who was present at the time remembers it a little differently than I do, but I will recount it as I remember it. As I mentioned earlier, I was swimming in the lake at the base of one of my parents' fields with some friends. My main house was about a 15-minute walk away. After a while of playing, we heard someone calling out to us. Glancing over, we saw the boy standing at the lake's edge, utterly barefoot. He yelled to play with us as soon as we saw him. He appeared to be about our age, or slightly older, but not by much. He was extremely pale, almost white. I recall being in awe of his incredibly vivid green eyes and feeling a little envious. He also had Draco Malfoy-esque shoulder-length white blonde hair. I turned to face my friends and we all nodded, and he joined us in the lake. It was strange that none of us had ever seen him before, as we had all grown up in this small town and knew almost everyone who lived there. He gave his name as Richard, but we called him Richie instead because that's how he preferred to be addressed. I seem to recall asking Richie where he was from, but he would always look uncomfortable and not really answer. Anyway, Richie seemed fun after a little more playing in the lake, so I invited him to return for dinner at my house. My friend asked, "Don't you need to ask your mom?" when he immediately said he would love to come. In response, Richie remarked, "Oh, she won't mind." Recall that I mentioned Richie was fully nude? That wasn't all that odd, really. Actually, I think we were all. I didn't find it particularly noteworthy when he initially arrived that way because my friends and I were all boys, and we frequently went skinny dipping in the lake. However, I did find it memorable when we dried off and changed after exiting the lake. Richie didn't have any clothes on him to change into. That struck me as really strange at the time, but then he said something like, "Oh, I must have forgotten to bring them," which struck me as strange once more. How do you forget your clothes exactly? I gave him my underwear and my overshirt to put on because I wasn't sure how my parents would feel about me bringing home a naked boy. But yes, that did stand out as really strange. Richie and I went to my house while my friends returned home. "Where are his clothes?" my father asked. "It's just something I made up. I think I said something along the lines of, 'We left his clothes in the sun to dry because they got wet.'" I got him some pants to wear. I recall him eating 3 or 4 plates of food during our dinner. Richie is a very thin boy, as I have mentioned. At the time, I was fairly small and skinny, but he was definitely skinnier than me. So I didn't understand how he could eat so much. While he was staying at my house, Richie was really kind and courteous to everyone. I showed him to my room upstairs after dinner where we played on my Nintendo 64 together.
He was astonished to see one because he had never seen one before. Since they were so old, this was 2010, I assumed at the time that he had never seen one, but all I had was that because my family wasn't wealthy. As night fell, I asked him if he would like to spend the night. That excited him much, and he agreed. I asked my parents, but since they were both really inebriated, I knew they wouldn't object. Thus, we kept playing until it was really late. After a while, I declared that I was tired and it was time for us to go to bed. However, I don't recall him appearing at all worn out. After playing in my fields, Richie asked if he could take a shower because he was very muddy. I prepared my bed and turned on a movie on the TV for us to watch before bed while he showered. After I went to bed, Richie returned to his nude state and was gone in about 5 minutes. "Did you walk from the bathroom like that?" I asked. "Yeah," he replied without seeming to mind. I didn't say anything because I thought it was strange. I asked him if he wanted any pajamas as soon as he got into my bed. He said, "No, it's too hot." And to be honest, I do recall that day being extremely hot. I guess it's not too strange that he was excited about a Scooby-Doo movie I had on. He didn't know anything about them. But in retrospect, it appears that he knew very little about popular culture. Even though my small town was somewhat outdated, we were still familiar with the majority of popular culture. The following day, I slept in quite a bit, but when I woke up, Richie wasn't in my room. My mother informed me that he had left early that morning after his parents had called our house when I went to ask if she had seen him. I still don't know how they knew he was with us, or where to call. My mother had said that Richie could not leave the house without clothes on, so he had taken some shorts from my room. I was a little let down that he went away without me, or at the very least without giving me a chance to say goodbye or leave a way to get in touch with him. A few days later, while my friends and I were once more swimming in the lake, he reappeared. He brought clothes this time too, though I believe he brought only a shirt and some briefs, which I found odd as well. He and I got really close over the course of the next year, like brothers we were. I begged to see his house and meet his family over the course of a year, but he would always seem uncomfortable if I brought up any personal matter or would simply change the topic. But I didn't press him to tell me because I could tell it bothered him. He did tell me that he was homeschooled, which I found interesting since it implied that there would be no formal education. Like I mentioned, during the year we grew quite close. He seemed to be more than just a friend to me. It's challenging to describe. It seems as though we clicked right away when we first met. We evolved into very rapidly, and I had the impression that I could tell him anything and that he would always be there to support and assist me. He encouraged me to be a better person and got me through a lot of difficult times. It seemed as though he could tell when I was experiencing any kind of difficulty. For instance, I refused to grieve in front of my family, so when my grandma passed away, I went outside into my fields. But Richie showed up and sat beside me after choosing a seat at random. I recall that some of the things he said really helped me. He claimed to have been out for a walk when I asked how he had found me. After that, he simply disappeared. He had not been seen at the lake for a little more than a year. It had been roughly a year and 3 months by September of the following year. He never left a trace, never said goodbye, and never appeared again. I missed him terribly, and was extremely upset. I would go for walks in the fields and spend time by the lake where we first met in the hopes that he would show up, but he never did. I'm still not sure what became of him. I've made an unsuccessful attempt to find him on social media. I also don't have a lot of information because he would never tell me that much about his life. I questioned my parents about their memories of him. They recalled him as strange and admitted that at first they weren't sure about him, particularly because of his propensity to get undressed whenever he felt like it. However, they also claimed that he and I were inseparable and that he could always be found with me. They said they remembered how devastated I was when he vanished, and that they didn't know if they should report him missing to the police. But they never did. I know it's unlikely, but Richie, if you're reading this, please get in touch with me. I would adore talking to you once more and learning the answers to all the strange things about you. Asterisk, first update. Richie's older sister, who I was unaware even existed, was connected to me by a distant relative that I found with the assistance of this blog and numerous kind comments. I will refer to the sister as Sarah for the purpose of clarity. Richie's strange behavior, his refusal to show me his house, and his disappearance were all explained by Sarah. Both Sarah and Richie experienced abuse and neglect at the hands of their father, who spent the majority of his adult life abusing illegal drugs and battling serious mental health problems. Their father kept them hidden away because he was afraid of the outside world. Sarah told me that their father believed the world was going to end within months, at most. He believed Jesus had spoken to him and that the only way to keep him and his family safe was to keep them isolated from the outside world. He also believed the devil was preparing to take control of his body and mind. Sarah revealed that their father was not frequently physically abusive, which is hopefully a comfort.
Throughout his childhood, Richie and his family moved around a lot, never staying in one place for too long because of his father's constant worry that the devil would eventually track them down. Although Sarah can't recall the precise moment they were relocated from my town, she said it was probably in the middle of the night and they weren't given any notice. This clarifies why Richie appeared one day and vanished 15 months later. About 2.5 years after disappearing from my town, Richie passed away at the age of 15. Though it appeared that Richie deleted himself, Sarah found it difficult to discuss the specifics of Richie's passing, and I didn't want to pressure her into sharing anything that would cause her pain. Sarah informed me that Richie would frequently talk about me and our time together, and that his only goal in life has been to return and locate me. Too bad he never got around to that. She claimed to believe that I was merely imagining things. She said that their father would keep them locked in their rooms for days, sometimes weeks at a time. but she is unsure of how Richie would slip out of the house to meet with me. I do recall Richie writing occasional diaries, and Sarah told me she had a collection of his. It's very kind of her to offer to send them to me. She informed me that a significant portion of the writing is about me, our time together, and our desire to find each other again so that we could flee together. She didn't believe that I was a genuine person. It was really bittersweet to hear that. Even though reading those diaries will be very challenging, I am looking forward to it. She expressed her happiness that Richie was able to influence someone in this world. I wish I could articulate the significance Richie had in my life. How I wish I could tell Richie how much he meant to me. I want Richie to be known to everyone. I want everyone to be aware of Richie's incredible, compassionate, and lovely nature. It's hard for me to write this post. I think deep down that I held back from looking for Richie longer, just in case this was what happened. Sarah gave me a lot more details, but in order to respect her privacy, I've chosen to omit most of them. I'm very happy that Sarah is no longer with her father and is safe. Once more, I would like to convey my gratitude to everyone who has provided assistance and emotional support. Richie, thank you very much. I cherish you. Sorry if I was unable to assist you. I apologize for not sensing the warning signs that you were in danger. I'm hoping you'll pardon me, Richie. I've never had a true friend until you. I'm having a terrible time writing this. I'm so sorry I didn't accomplish more. I want you to know, Richie, that you have saved my life countless times. My recollections of you have helped me through so many difficult times in my life. I sincerely apologize for not showing you the same support that you showed me. Richie, you have my undying love.